All right. Um, I think we're ready to go. Dylan, if you're still here, let me know if you can hear me. Um, I have a new microphone and a new camera setup, so I'm kind of testing things out. Don't have all the arms for everything, so like it's a little janky right here. But at least we have the equipment, so we're testing that out. Hopefully it'll be okay. Audio is very good. Camera looks nice too. Sweet. Okay. Yeah, hopefully our camera doesn't die. It's like charging and streaming at the same time at like 0%. So hopefully it's okay. I just finished filming with it. So if it disconnects, we'll swap over to our other camera. But yeah, we have a brand new camera, which is really nice. We have like it can zoom out pretty far, it can zoom in. It's got great natural colors and it's pretty good with lighting. So yeah, dude, it's exciting. We got some new stuff. Yeah, I was working on my double tissue video. Hopefully I can finish filming Saturday, Sunday, and then edit it to release sometime during the week. Ideally, I finish everything tomorrow, and then maybe it can release Sunday evening or something. We'll have to see what day works out. All right, so we have new design. I'll explain it in a little bit. I just want to check something really quick. All right, so we are doing. Let me get rid of this. Yeah, so for my double tissue video, this is actually really interesting. So, um, both tissues have lifted, and it was going to be an MC only, an MC and glue, but it looks like the MC and glue I actually didn't have enough on there, so it's still warped. So I might have to redo some of this, but I'll be able to explain this. Like, what initially this is an experiment to kind of show like what's happening. And since it's warping, we're gonna like fix like what can we do to fix this issue, and then that should be good because I think a lot of people have this issue where the tissue doesn't stick down all the way. And for me, the answer is going to be more glue in the MC. And then with this MC only one, I'm going to show that you can actually probably just peel the paper off. Yo, what's up? Shagnara and Benjamin, hello, hello. Getting a little sneak preview at part of the double tissue video I'm making. It's going to be, you can see it warped, right? So I'm going to troubleshoot how to fix this problem for double tissue. But yeah, the 5 people on the stream, under an EC2. Hello, hello. Yeah, this is a really random stream. I didn't know who would watch. So thanks guys for stopping by. We're gonna be folding some cool stuff. All right, so let's start. The goal is to shape, or at least start shaping this model. Now this is a double tissue model, so I wanted to use MC for part of it, but it's a little bit better to just use PVA because I don't want the double tissue to get wet in the color change areas because it's gonna ruin the color separation. It's gonna get too blue if it gets wet. I did not expect this late stream. Oh, well, for the people who've been around for a long time, they know this isn't even late. No, just kidding. This is a little bit of a later stream. I'll try to... I need to think of, like, a time that'd be good for streaming. Like, right now, this time, it's great for, I think, India and, like, really East Europe and China. I don't think I have any Chinese or Japanese viewers, but I have some in Australia, some in India. But Europe is, like, Western Europe is asleep, and then East Coast states is generally asleep. Maybe if I start earlier, we can get more of the East Coast. But yeah, who knows? India, it's 12 p.m. Yeah, so it's like lunchtime probably. And then since it's Saturday, there's no school normally, so people can watch. If I stream this late during the weekday, most people are at school. Okay, I have one brush. Is this the one I want? I think I had a different... Oh. Yeah, I wanted this one. Now, one thing about this camera is autofocus is like too good. So sometimes it's going to grab focus on the the top of this, and then it's going to blur this. So I'm going to... Well, it might be okay though if I'm working here. But I wonder if I should just set manual focus on this. So let me try that out. All right, and then okay. So we'll have it between... All right, that looks pretty good. Maybe a little bit closer to there. We'll pull that. Nice. And then... Yeah, because normally I work like around here. All right, so let me explain what this model is actually. So I had this idea for... I'm not sure if any of you watched the last 5-hour design stream. It's 2 in the morning for Benjamin. Okay, so you're like East Coast, USA or Canada or something. Thanks for stopping by for a little bit, but make sure you get some good rest. Oh, you might be in... Are you in South America? If South America, maybe Brazil? Or, yeah, I think South America is 2 a.m. East Coast USA should only be... Actually, I'm not sure, but it's getting late for you. But this is the model I folded for the last 5-hour design challenge. It was really rushed, including making the double tissue. But I came up with this dress design. So it's kind of got like a split, like a V-neck, and then it switches back to a full dress, and then it had a whole bunch of detail. I'm not going to do the color change legs and stuff. But I took that structure and I wanted to make like a formal dress. So it's kind of like practicing almost clothing design, but not fully. But trying to get different styles of clothing with different structures. So you can see how it works, right? Normally, if you were folding a box plate model, this is your axis. And then this is like the back, or this is the back area with all the flaps. In this case, that's on the front end, and then we just swivel the edge flap, or a double edge flap, to keep the same color, and hide it so it looks like it's an axis, which it technically is. It's technically an axis shift. But then up top, we have regular box plate stuff, and that's because to create this structure, we reverse folded through the whole model and did this nifty little pleat that is transitioned through there to give us like this v-neck kind of pose, or not pose, v-neck structure for the dress. And I think it works. And then for the bottom, like the only way I could fit long enough arms and long enough hair with enough neck is to make it a 32 grid. So I'm like, okay, I have too much paper down here, and I'll show that with the crease pattern. So you can kind of see the iterations of what I went through. Here's the first one, which is from a 24 grid. And the problem I had was like way too short of hair. The neck wasn't good enough. And then I tried to get hair from here, but my mind was tricked because I forgot that the axis from the back had flipped. So the hair was in the front, not in the back, which is a problem. It's 11 p.m. for unknown EC2. Update from Instagram. Sorry, I missed them at the chat. People will come. Yeah, okay. Maybe I'll drop a story on Instagram as I explain this. North America, it's really late. Yeah, that's pretty late, man. Thanks for stopping by, though. Catching the stream. Yeah, let me get the stream link copied. And then Instagram story. We'll use the same thumbnail. Random live stream now. Coming out. And then link. YouTube Live. Whenever I'm making these links, like I feel like for the colors, with the blue one, it looks sketchy. Like it feels like a scam link, even though I know it's my own link. I like this one or the other one. All right. See if anyone else hops by. Ethan Chu, it is 1:07 for you. Is that 1:07 a.m. in the morning? That is also getting late. The dude in the thumbnail looks ripped. Ah, yes. So that just released today. I didn't have a picture of this one yet, so I'll show him off in a little bit, but he's pretty cool. Because I have a lot to say about him. Even in traditional origami, a lot of folds are unnamed, right? It's difficult to explain it to someone. Yeah. Because you could technically break them down into traditional steps, but doing so would make it really hard to understand. Like, I guess everything can be considered a swivel fold as well. Like this is technically a swivel fold. And then, yeah, when it gets more 3D, it's really wonky. Because everything is, literally like everything is swivel fold. Like all these are technically all swivel folds and whatnot. But yeah, basically how I resulted in this frilly bottom is I needed something to go here. This is the next one. I thought, okay, 28 grid might be a little bit bigger. Might be able to do something. The arms were still too, it was a little strange. I can actually show you. Do some Ori-edit magic. Right, so here the arms, I'll show the back too. So this would be the colors are flipped. Let's do blue, like the fold. All right, so like the arms are right at the neck, which you need a good amount to actually shape out a neck. And yeah, so the arms were long enough, but it still wasn't, like, it's too high on the shoulders. This one is worse. I'll show you the 24 grid. Oh, something's wrong here. Okay, well, it doesn't even work. So, oh, I see what's wrong. Let's try it again. Okay, something's really messed up with that one. Let's forget about that one. Here's the final one. And then we can ignore a lot of the details, but let me just show the proportions on this thing, right? I think I could have used a Pythag to get it in a smaller grid, but I don't do much Pythag, so I just didn't. Okay. What's the program called? It's called Ori Editor. It's the same thing as Orihime. It's just a fork. So it's got slightly different like buttons, I think. Like it's the same button, it's just different art. And then there's a slightly more optimized folding algorithm and a little bit less buggy. There's a couple different forks of Orihime that people are developing on. I'm just using this one for now. And I think my camera died. Okay, so we're going to swap that out in a little bit. Well, at least I could just show this in Ori Edit. Yeah, now the shoulders are in the correct line, right? And are long enough. And since we have a 32 grid, we can do something really fancy with the bottom. So instead of just making legs, like that's a lot of space to use. But thankfully, corrugations use up a lot of room too. So that's what we have going on here, which, one second. I'm gonna swap my camera. We're gonna let the battery charge, and then I'm gonna swap back. I don't have like a dummy battery for it yet. I wanted to see if it would charge fast enough while connected to the stream link. I guess not. But that's okay. That, or I just got to get spare batteries. Those are a little expensive. I think I just want to have a dummy battery instead. All right, let's see how fast I can set up the second camera. We're in challenge mode right now. Oh, I gotta swap lenses too. It's the best Be Right Back screen I've seen. Thank you. What model is this? Oh, this is a brand new model. It's a I call it formal dress is what I have listed in the file name. But I haven't really come up with a good name yet. But the concept is making a formal dress, and then I was inspired by geometric origami. So I wanted to mix them together a little bit. Because I actually attended the one second. Okay. I attended the Geometric Origami Convention, which was last weekend. It was the second one, and I'll show some of those folds too. All right, I think we did it. Let's see. Oh, wait, I had the correct lens on last time. All right, you know what? This lens is good enough. I think it's fine. Um, okay, we're back. Good enough, right? What was I saying? Yeah, geometric origami. So there's a origami master who you may or may not be familiar with, but his name is Shuzo Fujimoto. And if you don't do a lot of geometric origami, you might not know who he is. But he's been doing a lot of origami for a long time. And he passed away, but kind of as a celebration of his life from his family and just to give to the community, he made his models not open source, a public domain. So you don't have to get permission to use his work at all. It's just free on the market. So at the convention, they taught this, which is his cross springs. I can't exactly remember the name. It's cross spring something, but it's in the trunk family. Right, so you can make like really long ones. But it's basically the same pattern you can see in the crease pattern. And I thought like, oh, what if that's just the bottom of the dress, right? Wouldn't that be neat? It's like they're really fun to play with, and it's its own unique texture. And I feel like for a fancy dress, it would kind of work. So that's where I was inspired by. I didn't obviously do this full thing. It's only 2, so it's like 2.5 of those units. And that fills up the room on the bottom. I think I could actually push it up like 1 or 2 units more and then get one more transition here. But I just kind of guessed where to put it and sent it. That's sometimes how origami design goes. You know what I mean? But I think it's working pretty well. And actually, now that I'm looking at the crease pattern, I noticed, I think I drew the crease pattern wrong. Yeah, I did. I think if I were to actually fold the crease pattern, it would be better. Basically, what would happen is this would be longer for it to go. Oh, maybe I don't want that. Okay, I'm gonna have to fix the crease pattern because it's wrong. It's too spread out. Like you can see that the torso here is a lot longer than, or it's like 2 units longer than shown on the crease pattern. Oh, maybe that's too short. I don't know. Either way, we're gonna shape this. I should probably start soon, and then we'll get to it. But after a little bit of shaping, I'll show off that guy from the thumbnail. And if you guys think of any questions, you can ask questions about that guy too, and maybe I'll show it earlier. But at least we're gonna start start to shape. And I think we're just gonna lock down this. I'm okay with just gluing it. Yeah. Oh, and one more cool thing from the geometric. This is by Yaroslav. He does trunks. It's very similar structure to this, but on a hex grid. It's just so cool. Like, I don't do this normally, so I wanted to go to that convention just to throw my brain into something new and get me thinking outside of what I'd normally think of. And it kind of worked. I got creative, right? I even I don't know if I'm the first one to do it, but I combined this and this into this. So it's a very similar structure, but now it's like a shuriken instead of a saw blade. I don't know. I got creative, you know. applied what I learned from the convention, and it's really fun because it's like, it's just a grid, and then you don't even have to pre-crease too much because you just reverse fold through everything. So since you have the grid, you just kind of pre-crease through all the layers, and then just fold them as you go. Kind of reminds me of origami fireworks. Yeah, exactly. I bet it's the same kind of concept too. Really fun. Yaroslav's made some from like almost meter long sheets, I think. They're like super long, so that's kind of crazy. And that takes a lot of time. But those he folds them into like really cool shapes. But from what you can get with a square, like this, because I still wanted to do things from square. Like that's a square, that's pretty cool. All right, so let's get started with the first little bit of glue. And that is just to lock in this structure. Nice thing with this PVA though is I can actually undo most of it without destroying the paper. What I found from using MC though is if you use on a handmade paper, you can fully undo everything. Like it's pretty wild. So I'm a big fan of using PVA, but also I've become converted back into MC shaping. But like only on specific papers, I think it works. Any plans on making more 2-in-1 designs in the future? Maybe. I've consulted someone that was asking for help on that. Except they did it from a rectangle and I helped them pack it. So technically I designed a 2-in-1. I want to redesign my 3-headed dragon and then make a tutorial for that. Because that's one of those models where like I could actually make it better, and I would want to make it better because it's still the head is still pretty cool. It's still a pretty cool design, and it wouldn't be too hard to teach. I would just have to teach like the head, and then the rest is regular box plate. And the shaping is way easier than teaching how to shape a human. So there's that too. The other one is the Phoenix. I just want to make it from a 48 grid, make the tail a little longer, and then people really want a tutorial for that. So we'll see which one is next. Basically, the paper videos are coming first, and then I'm gonna do another round of tutorials. Now that we have the camera upgrade, it's gonna be a lot easier to do tutorials. Yeah. Should be good. Well, maybe I'll do like a popular vote and see what people want first. I'm a PVA guy as well, just because it dries so fast. Yeah, it dries so fast, right? The thing with MC is you have to be really patient. Like even though I was using the hair dryer to dry the flaps, which is pretty fast. Like I mean, this is already dry, right? I'm not even doing anything. It's so fast. Well, because it's not fully wet, like it won't really tarnish or wrinkle or warp the paper layer. So like there's no warping here, but if I were to use enough MC to get it to stick here, on the tissue will start to warp. On thicker handmade papers it probably won't, but it will warp on stuff like this. Or like really absorbent papers too, like printer paper, not the best to wet full. I mean, you can a little bit until it starts to like tear itself apart, and then you don't want to. But it's all preference too. Like I feel like the style of shaping with PVA is completely different than shaping with MC. Like MC, it's a lot closer to wet folding if you're doing it like that, but MC is or sorry, PVA is just you see it, you stick it, you know. And there's some wet folding aspects to it too. Like a lot of times, if I am gluing layers, I'll glue them, and then when it's half dry, you can kind of sculpt it, like as if it was wet folding. You just don't actually have to let it fully dry, because the paper won't destroy itself. Yeah, I don't think I'm experienced enough, even though I folded like a lot. I personally don't feel experienced enough to like make a good judgment call between the two of them and which one you should use. I'm just at a place of like, okay, I know which one I want to use for this model, and that's kind of it. But yeah, I'm not sure like the full set of cost and benefit. Now what I wanted to do on one of these arms is make it like a bracelet or something, but it doesn't go all the way across unless I do like make it diagonal. So I'm not exactly sure what I want to do here. But I feel like just this flap, you can do so many different color change things here. I still want enough for like the hand. So if I'm going to PVA it, I'm going to PVA all the layers except for this one. So I can decide later. But I think that's next. Or we can just do the dress. Actually, let's do the dress. So I'm trying to think of the proportions. We might have to like, I guess we could always just go shrink down like that. I prefer not to. But let's get this locked away. We're just going to commit to it. See where it goes. Because I want to see what it looks like when it fans over. Okay, I don't want to glue any of the fanned layers because they're going to be all spread apart. Now, what I could do, I think, is use MC here and then spread it and then blow dry it, and it should stay fanned out. We might experiment with that just to see if it'll work, but that's after we glue these ones down. And then if the paper like warps or anything, we won't see it because these are all internal layers. And it won't matter too much. Maybe it makes the part stronger, and of course you can shape it as foil paper because between the time it dry, yeah, that it'll be more permanent. That's true. Yeah, once it's dry, it's a lot harder to undo. You know, it's pretty much permanent. But yeah, Shangnar is on the dot there. All right, I'm gonna glue this down too. I don't want to do the full thing yet in case I want to like open it. Actually, what I was thinking is if I open up this layer. No. We don't need to do that. Okay. Now, yeah, there is a thing though. Like, I am using PVA right now. I think the future of my folding style, depending on the paper, of course, is a hybrid. So even kind of, this is kind of gonna be hybrid. But the dwarf I did for the shaping challenge in Origami Dan, this is hybrid. So the layers are PVA'd together, but the position is just MC. So like all this right here is just MC. All this is MC. But then like this is PVA. And then like actually I think this is all MC too. The curve is just from MC. Oh, the beard is PVA. Because then it's like foil, kind of like what Shane was saying. To get the beard texture. Yeah. up here. Never tried wet folding because my DT. Yeah, I wouldn't really wet fold DT. You need to use like a thicker paper, like an Unryu or any kind of mulberry would be okay. Regular mulberry might be too thin actually. I like Lokta would be okay. Wenjo is okay. Wenjo reacts really well with MC actually. Oh, you know, maybe so one of the things you can do with MC is you can make like single layers of paper really tough. They won't really be thicker, but they'll be strong. It'll hold their form. So that might be okay. It just kind of depends. But yeah, you got to be like really careful. There were some close calls. So I folded the statue with Wenjo. And there was a couple times that I was like, oh, I got this area too wet. And if I don't let it dry, it's going to tear. So I'm just going to not work on it, let it dry, and then try again later. Like even after I blow dried it, it still needs some drying time to like make sure it doesn't destroy itself. But yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so now like that. Okay, I need to glue the top just a little bit more. Yeah. We're just letting it dry. We can do that because it dries fast. All right, good enough. All right. So, yeah, let's see if we can utilize MC a little bit. I'm going to get the blow dryer ready. All right, so this is how I blow dry stuff when I have to hold it open. Is I just get set up the blow dryer like this, and then I get something heavy. Let's use our old microphone. Put it there so it won't move. I should probably get something grippy. All right, we'll use this toolbox as well. And then that way the dryer, like I can just hold it in front of it and then it should be okay. Now I'm going to apply the MC and then let me try to angle this actually so you can see what I'm doing. So it's going to be like this. I'm going to hold it open as it dries. Should probably do it from here so I can actually watch it. Now, what would be easier is if this went all the way around. Like if it went all the way around, then I could just use a clip at the end and then use that to hold in place, but it doesn't quite. So we're gonna do it like this. And then I'm gonna mute when I blow dry because I don't want it to like destroy your ears. We're also gonna be careful not to get any MC on our hair dryer so we don't electrocute ourselves. But Now I don't want it to go all the way, but we need like enough in the base so that it can actually dry. Okay, we're gonna mute real quick. I'm gonna try to get this semi-dry and we'll see if it stays in place. All right, we're back. And it kind of worked. I didn't get all of it, but you could kind of see like just with that little bit. I honestly probably should have put some more MC, but it already allows it to open, right? So we can just probably work at that a little bit more. I think honestly I would need to put it up here. That way because with MC you're kind of trying to find what are the tension points. You put MC on those tension points and then it holds, which is why it's a little different than glue where you can just stick stuff together. So like some of the tension point would be here and you can kind of feel it. You guys can't feel it. I can feel it when I'm moving the paper, right? The resistance would be here. So then what I would want to do is use MC to basically freeze that tension into place. So I used two different hair dryers, one for drying MC and the other one for my hair. Maybe if you get the MC one dirty. I use this for my hair too, but my hair is not that long, so you know, this is like $5. You know, this is like literally the cheapest hair dryer you could probably find. It works for both. You know what I mean? Whatever you have available. Probably don't use like if you have like a sister or a parent and they have like a fancy one, you probably shouldn't use that. You can just get a really cheap one. But maybe the fancy ones work better. Who knows? Maybe it's more even air distribution. Okay, so if we ever have to blow dry stuff, if I don't have, sometimes I just hold it too. Like if I don't actually have to open this, then we don't need to grab all that stuff. But I'll just hit the mute button. Hi, glad I caught this. Sweet. What's up? So Sloppy Bobby 3, you've been making some good double tissue. I see it in the materials channel. I don't care about dyeing my hair. Gonna do it with MC. Drying your hair. Yeah. You know, I don't really need that hair dryer to actually dry my hair. It's gotten more of its life just drying MC than anything, for sure. All right, that really isn't bad. Because of how the air billet, like this part is really messed up, but this model is definitely just gonna be like a one-sided model. I'm not trying to shape it 3D. It's just gonna be like this angle, and I don't really know if I can pose it because of this whole structure, but we'll see. We'll think about it as we go. I do think it's like a little too long though. Like this should definitely be, and also this should be wider. Yeah, bottom of the dress should probably be wider. That way this can get tighter. That, or we just make these a little bit. I think that's wider enough, so it'll come down. Like like maybe that's long enough, but we'll know for sure when we finish shaping like the neck and the arms. So for the arms, all right, let's do the neck first because we're gonna be able to tell a lot after we do that. And for that, we're using. I guess we could technically use MC as well. We could probably use MC afterwards, but PVA works pretty well for neck because we're just gluing a lot of the layers together, and then I don't have to air dry it. I can talk to everyone. All right, so I don't really have to go through all the layers. Actually, if we don't go through all the layers, then if there's any remaining, we can use those to hold our MC. That'll give us a little bit more flexibility down the line. So I'm not going to glue too far down the arms yet, just kind of the elbow connection. All right. Oh, it got stuck. Let's see. So Sloppy Bobby, what are you planning to fold again? I think you might have mentioned it, but what are you planning to fold with those double tissues you're making? And then what else is here? Unknown EC2 and Shangnara. Let me know what projects you guys got going on. And then, of course, if you have any questions, feel free to leave it there. And then I'll do my obligatory plug. If you guys are interested in the OBB competition, it's a tilted grid dog. That's really cool. And it's being judged by Shuki Kato, the tilted grid pioneer himself. So if you want your fold to be in front of the eyes of Shuki Kato, and he sees your name too, you know, maybe consider competing. The other judge is Bodo, so same deal. If you want Bodo to check out your fold, basically he'll be going to your Instagram to see your fold. That's my plug. I'm working on Lang's Miraken Beauty Rose. I just sent a picture in progress spam. All right, let's check this out. Progress spam. Oh, that looks nice. That looks real nice. I like those tools you got going on too. Nice selection of a bone folder, a pokey tool, and the clips. I love those clips. That's looking real nice. Shagnar, I can't fold anything till the end of March because of exams, but after that, I got a lot of ideas for design. Nice, dude. Yeah, grind out those exams, study hard, and then have a lot of fun afterwards. It's worth it. I speak from experience. You know, sometimes you just can't fold or do much because you're grinding, but the grind is good. It'll make the joy of folding like feel more rewarded. So I would start something, but school is most of my time covered. Yeah, I kind of same deal. I feel you. Probably start something big over the summer. Awesome. That sounds exciting. Yeah, when I was in school, I was still in school up until a year and a half ago. Totally the same, guys. I feel you, man. But once you make it out, you know, work hard in school. It's worth it. It's really worth it. It is a sacrifice at the time for sure, but all right. We did the neck. Okay, so it's now a little bit dry. And then I want to squeeze this down quite a bit. Like that. Since it's in anime style and not really realistic, I think I can... This might be too thick to use. Oh, I did it too much too. All right, it's a little bit squeezing too much, but that's okay. We can just use PVA to hold it. Let me just make sure the layer doesn't get trapped up here. That might be too much PVA. Yeah, if we don't give it an interesting pose this time around, we can always do one on a second fold if I like this design enough. So I think it's okay starting with just the generic T-pose. Third time's the charm. Exactly. Yeah, the nice thing about using the slightly larger grid with the 32 is I do have a lot of room for the neck. So I was able to thin the neck without shortening it too much. And I still have all this flexibility to position the neck higher or lower than I need. But next we're probably going to mock out the face proportion because that's going to be the telltale for the rest of the body as well as the arms. Because we don't want the shoulders to be too large either. Indian parents, if something is not affecting studies, you're free to do anything you want. So, and for self-satisfaction as well. If I'm good at both, there's nothing to be stressed. Yeah, exactly, man. If you do what you gotta do, you know, show you can do both. You have that responsibility. That's some good solid stuff right there. Yeah, then the parents can't complain. You know, you can't complain to yourself. You know, that's always good. You know, you're doing good and whatnot. Yeah, we're all in kind of the same boat. Yeah, as long as it doesn't affect studies. All right, it's getting a little bit uglier on top because I didn't glue all of it all the way, but it's going to be hidden behind a face and a hair, so shouldn't have to worry about it too much. Honestly, if this was the color change, we could have done just an open hairstyle using this too, where these almost look like elephant ears. But it's gonna close back up once we're done. So the head structure is very similar to the Ara Ara, where I'm gonna be flipping this up. Actually, this is the same as the assassin hood. This is how the hood works: is you open that up and it gives you a little bit more real estate to form kind of anything around it. But in terms of color change, when you push the head in, like then the sides color change. So even though we don't have like full color change here, when we shape it, it should, in theory, not show. But before that, we need to get our face shape. So right now, our face is 2 units, right? And then I said this before, like, actually now we can use our statue friend as a reference. He doesn't have perfect proportions. His head's a little bit too big. Just a little bit. And this light is not doing him very good. But let's see. Oh, that's even worse. I need the light from like this side so you can see the A-frame on the shadow. But, oh well. Maybe I just there you go. You can kind of see some of the details. I think the thing is, I think I did a good job, but I know I could do better. And that's because I made some mistakes while I was shaping it and just folding the design in general that I realized afterwards. Because I did the head last, like that I figured it out afterwards. But yeah, the head is just slightly too big. I do like the fact that I have eyebrows. I think that was something I've been missing in a lot of my faces, is not having eyebrows. So can you guys see the eyebrows a little bit if the focus doesn't freak out? A little bit, right? And then that kind of solidifies the shape of where the eye should be. It's a little bit too skull-like. Like it is super pronounced. But at least it draws an effect. And then something that we were talking about, me, Plant, and Chris, was side profiles of faces, which is also really difficult. But I think I did a decent job on the cheeks and the jawline. The chin's a little too sharp and the lips are too shallow, except for the bottom lip. The bottom lip is a little too big. And then I actually have an ear, which is new. A lot of my faces don't have ears. But proportion wise, head unit is supposed to be, the body and legs is supposed to be 7 head units. This one is like 6.5. So the head's slightly too big. For here, we have 2 units for the head, but our body is, let's see, this is 2, 4, 6, 8. So this is already 8, which means the face would need to be 1 unit. And then because I think the body is actually still too long, like we really have to hit 1 unit face or it's not going to look correct. Which a lot of people are like, wait a second, 1 unit face, like that's real small. Now it's probably gonna the outline is basically gonna be halves on this side, that side, the top, and then tucked in a little bit for the chin. So it's not like we're only using a diamond, a 1 unit diamond. But top to bottom, it should be around 1 unit. We get a little bit of leeway since it's an anime style. They generally have larger heads. So if we're like 1/7 or 1/6.5, it'll look okay. Ish. Well, hopefully it'll look okay. Hello, welcome to the stream. Always amazed by what works. Thank you so much, and thanks for coming along. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And let me know if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, but I think it's pronounced Makeem. If that's not right, let me know. But yeah. Yeah, the pic of this on Discord are showing the real thing. Yeah. Yeah, you can ask anything origami related and appropriate, and it's I'll try my best to answer. Um, Kim is fine. Gotcha. Sounds good. All right, I'm a little actually. Do I want the arm like this? And then I do the color change on this one. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cleaner. Okay, yeah. Good thing we didn't glue this down yet. Let's actually make this the hand. It's gonna be the thumb, and then we can do a color change on this one right here. Like that. I'll just have to change the crease pattern, or remember to fix it later. And then I didn't pre-crease this side, but it's just a reverse fold. What do I do with old origami? That's a great question. There's a lot of them over there, which it might be overexposed. But along my windowsill, I have ones from like 7 years ago. And then I keep drafts like in there. So I have like I have the Crunchyroll Hime. So I have like practice versions. And so like a lot of these I'll hang on to if they're good. So like this was I think this was the thumbnail for the hexplate guy. This one was actually it was a good fold except for the arms, right? So the real one is this one. He's also a little chunkier. But because it was so good, like I don't want to throw this one out. I'll just use it as reference for videos or practice, or if someone wants one, then I can give it to them, So maybe it's a giveaway prize. But yeah, I have like a ton of test folds. I try to put them in containers, and then once the container gets full, I throw out the oldest ones I don't want. So like I'll probably throw this one out pretty soon. This was just a test to show shaping of hexplate. But I save probably too many of my old folds, but that's mostly just because I like them, Like right now I have this light box that's also right next to me, but because I just folded from the geometric convention, like it's all full of geometric origami. Here's a cool tessellation. And then this is Jun Meikawa. He's got an egg box. So it's a modular, right? But it's pretty cool. Like that's it's cool and it's kind of cute. Really easy to fold. Really entertaining. Just totally different stuff than I would normally fold. There's also a cool box. Oh, I don't have it up here. The other so I don't know if you guys saw my YouTube short on the new dragon design. But I have like 20 folds of this dragon. I just threw away like 10 of them because I was done with it. But to figure out all the shaping and run through drafts and find a good sequence and everything. Like this one doesn't even have the wing details. Even though it was supposed to be like a final fold. This one's like overshaped a little bit. This one turned out decent. But yeah, I probably won't get rid of those for a couple of years, even though I probably should. Can you share how to fold origami wings of your phoenix? Yeah, so I talked about that a little bit earlier. That's one of the tutorials I'm going to be making after my current paper tutorials. So I'll just do that in the tutorial, but if I'll give you like a quick, I'll explain it because I have a pleat ready. Okay. So it's something like this, right? So the wing structure, it's basically a bunch of pleats, a hinge, and a bunch of pleats. So all you're really doing is, wow, this is overexposed. Like opening this layer, like that, right? And then you keep doing that all the way down, but like not all the way, but enough so that now in this area you do a swivel fold. Just like that. And you do that all along these, but there's a twist. On the hinge, I think the structure has a second layer, so it'd be like there's another pleat running through the whole thing. Like that. And so you do that on the second layer as well. So you do that same swivel fold on it. So let me grab the phoenix really quick. But yeah, I'm gonna make the tutorial, so don't worry. That's I think I'm dead set on the phoenix and the three-headed dragon. And then when we hit 10,000 subscribers, which is happening sooner than I thought, we're just 1,000 away. I'll do the dragon plate armor. Okay, so sorry, I missed a lot of chat too. I was rambling for a little while. Did you know Kamiya Satoshi Origami and Yeah, I did. I watched that on YouTube. I'm a little bit older, so yeah, I've been around. Think 1 unit face is okay if the grid is smaller and the paper is bigger. Yeah, that's also true, Shagnar. The size of the paper really kind of like the really big paper, that 1 unit is going to go a lot farther than a smaller paper. What do you... Okay, I answered that one. It always feels horrible to throw stuff old. Yeah, dude, it really does, man. I don't like throwing stuff out. I threw out a lot of my old stuff, and most of what's left is dusty. Yeah, you know, I actually try to routinely dust like my show models. So like the Phoenix and stuff, everything I have on these display stands, I try to dust because everything else is dusty. Yeah, all the other stuff is dusty, but they do collect dust like relatively fast. Okay, here's the pleats, right? So you can see like that was that swivel I was trying to show. Right? It's like all of these. And I think I double swiveled them. Like they're swiveled twice. But they're just layers pulled out. And then you see like this pleat here. Which is that, but then on the other side, it when you swivel it, you kind of have to sink fold all the corners inside, so it's like a close sink all throughout. But it's actually, when you look at it up close, it looks really sloppy and kind of bad. But when you look at it from afar, it looks good because it's layered, and that's all that really matters for that. I think this wing is a little bit cleaner. I did the wings less pointy, so like you can really see the swivel folds here, and there's gaps between them. And I think the wider wing, the wider feathers actually look nice, and then it's even more shallow up here. Do you know how to fold wings in the Pegasus B3? I've never folded that model, so I'm not sure. It might be similar. I kind of just did this by looking, and then my friend Paper Forger, he showed me how he does his, and I kind of blended the two together. I didn't quite have enough units basically to do Paper Forger's wing, but I replicated the double layer from his designs. You're at 9K, that means origami community is getting bigger. A whole lot of new folders are coming, and some great folders are coming back to origami. Dude, yeah, it's really exciting. Like, I can't believe I'm at 9K. Like, that's a lot of people. And it's really cool that they're interested in origami. So, dude, the more folds, the better. You know, that grow the community, more new friends, right? It's good stuff. I only discovered his channel around a year ago. Oh, dude, thanks, man. Yeah, the past 2 years have been like pretty big. We've been growing at a steady rate, which is pretty good. It's good stuff. Yeah, that's the Phoenix. Okay, I'll put that away for now. But yeah, tutorial probably not soon, but hopefully by the summer. Which it sounds like a lot of y'all are taking a break from origami until you're done with school, so that might be a good time to drop the tutorials. Is like right before summer starts, and then you'll kind of have them ready to go. All right, back to shaping. So this should be nice and dry now, so that's good. And then we can start shaping the face. I'm not going to do anything too crazy. What I like to do, since we're going for more of a feminine vibe, is thin this a bit, but not make it too pointy. We just don't want to square off the chin too much. Just like that. Just try to make it even on both sides. And then like after it's super pointy like this, we push this in. So it's not like super sharp, but not blocked off either. That's kind of blocked off. Okay, well, we can massage into place later. But like something like that, we have like a little gap here, a little bit there, and then we go up. So wrap this down like about there. And then same thing on the other side. And we're just trying to match both sides for now, and then we'll adjust it if it doesn't look correct. Let's grab this flap. And then the very top, we don't have to worry about at all because, or we have to worry about a little bit, but not as much because the hair is going to cover it. And then all those like folds, they wrap around in that corner, so then it swivels. And it kind of holds the chin forward over the neck. So chin forward over the neck just a little bit. That helps. So now when we look at the neck, it's shadowed by the chin. And then we have some depth. So that's how I like to do chins with this structure. Very different than how I approached it for this guy. This guy's chin that's something else, man. That was hard to do. It's nice that there are way more people into complex origami. Yeah, I mean, even in the past like 4 years, the landscape of complex origami was completely different. There's so many more people just trying it now, you know, which is great. Honestly, I'm watching you from 2019. Yeah, Shagnar, you've been here a while, man. You've been a member too. So, dude, thanks so much for being around and supporting me, watching my videos. First video I saw was the time lapse of the night by SK. So sweet, dude. That's good stuff. Yeah, it's been a while. When's the last time lapse I did? That would have been, yeah, kind of around 2019. I was doing the SK time lapses. Do you know the technique that Kamiya used on the TV Champions when he made Andromeda and Perseus? It's called the mannequin technique. I really want to learn the technique, but nowhere to be found. Oh, I'm gonna have to rewatch what he did, but um, yeah, my guess is some kind of box plate base structure and for designing, but I haven't seen it in a while, so I'd have to re-familiar myself with it. If you know Obelisk, he's got at least what I think is this mannequin technique. Is there's a technique called like octopus base, which is basically box plate 8 flaps in, and then two for arms, two for legs, one for details or hair, and then one for the head. You can pretty much make anything out of that. Is it available? I think it's somewhere on YouTube. I think it was on it's from a while back, so it's gonna take some good YouTube search skills to find it. But all right, and then with this point on the top, right, we just kind of want it out of the way. I'm gonna tuck it behind, and then I'm gonna use PVA to just reinforce like all the folds we just did. Yeah, I think one of my like side goals, I haven't fully committed to it yet because I'm just weighing like the benefits, the cost benefits, or if it's even like a rational thing to do, would be to learn Japanese, because I feel like the Japan community is a little bit harder to reach into as an outsider. But knowing the language would help immensely, especially if I ever visit or if I apply to be a special guest. I've been recommended by some people to try being a special guest, but I feel like in order to actually make a bridge and a community impact in Japan as a foreigner, I should know the language. But learning Japanese is like part-time job or a full-time job. So like that'd be a lot to, like, I can't just casually learn it, and sure I might learn some stuff, but it's not gonna be enough to go to Japan. But I think if I full send a language, like buy textbooks and kids books and maybe hire a tutor, make some moves in Japan, that'd be pretty fun. Then I can read Japanese on Japanese. That's right, I could translate for people. Wouldn't that be crazy? I can be like, oh, this is not a outside reverse fold. It's a inside reverse fold that you unwrap. That's what it is. And tropical nature. How great that you tried teaching shaping. Thanks. Yeah. It's hard to teach shaping, but at least I can show what I do, and then I think people can kind of glean off of that. I know a lot of people get like inspired off or seeing like what I'm doing or just trying things. Or maybe you just remember all the proportion talk I mentioned. But either way, yeah, sharing it helps. I think it's a lot easier to do in a live stream than in a tutorial. Because tutorial, it has to be like structured, and the tutorial's too long, like people never see it. But during a live stream, people couldn't just like, oh, I think Boyce talked about this in this live stream. That's called shaping. I'm just gonna browse through it and try to find it while he's working on the neck. It's somewhere around here. And then if people who attend live can ask questions, which is great. And then now that I have new setup, more live streams maybe. I mean, this thing's pretty cool, right? I have some more of this stuff, which I've been testing out on Twitch with a different like OBS software. I think I can move it over to YouTube as well. I just don't know if I don't know how it'll look. And I have to get some chat plugins, but yeah, if I can make it look aesthetic enough, then it'll be pretty fun. I wish YouTube Live had a little bit more interactions with chat. But that's okay. We'll get there one day, I think. Invest in the YouTube stonks, you know. It's the undying tech giant of video creation, video content. All right, but you can kind of see, so our head, it's not actually 1 unit. It's definitely longer than 1 unit, but with the hair, it's going to be around a unit because the hair has to go like up to here. So the top of the head, right? And then what's actually shown, which would be the rest of the face, would be around 1 unit. So that's how that kind of works out. And then that looks relatively proportional. It's always better to have a smaller head than a head that's too big. Because it just works proportion wise. Like some people have small heads. Some people have big heads, but people who have big heads, they're not like as big as in an origami model normally. It's like a physical, generally a limit. Okay, so we're going to do the hair a little bit. I'm just going to crease in. So what I like to do is around a half unit, it's not a real transition, but you can kind of fake a transition like that on a half unit to get this angled thing to stay. And that way we can use this corner of the unit. And then this is like so that we don't have to mush too much. We're obviously gonna have to mush a little bit, but it's a little bit easier to not mush on the start and have a kind of a direction into folded structural shaping. That way, if you mess up, you can either refold what you did or you can go back and it's not going to look all crinkled. And I'm falling out of frame. So I kind of did a squash fold, but not really. And then that goes around here. It gives some texture to the layers, which we can swivel in. And then I like to push this to one side. So we're gonna do another like fake transition here so that we can pleat this, and then let's push it to that side. Get something like that. Yeah, it's kind of like shading while you're sketching. Yeah, exactly. That's very, very much like what this feels like. Right, so we can definitely start to see the vision and the direction we're going with the hair. And then kind of like what I said, see, even though this wasn't the color change, now that we've done that, it kind of wraps down. And we'll cover some of the front. Although, what I might do is I might just glue this to the inside so it's not all wobbly. But like if you didn't want to do that, you could probably fold a lock here. The reason why it won't fold the lock is because the tissue paper is not strong enough to hold that lock itself. So while I'm shaping the arm, I'm pretty sure I'm going to tear the paper. And we don't like that. So we're just going to glue it. Just a little bit so it sticks. You can even like, basically I'm not going to go to the edge. I'm going under the edge like that. That way the color really won't show on the outside. So then this will be the clean seam. No one's going to see the inside, so that is my tip on folding imprecisely to make it look more precise. You know what I mean? It's a skill you can develop after you learn to fold precisely. In Dan, at least, I see a lot of the beginner help. some of the more experienced members, like they do talk about precision a bit, but I think it's like you learn to fold precisely, and then once you're able to fold precisely, you want to learn how to fold imprecisely, because if you fold too precise, the thickness of the paper is going to lead you to imperfection, and a lot of people get stuck there. And that's where you get issues with like paper's too thick, paper's too small, and you know, sometimes that's the case, but you'll see more experienced people use like these really thick papers, but they know how to fold imprecisely to get a more precise looking result, because they've developed that skill, and then that's kind of, it kind of opens doors for that. Okay, so now the question is, do we want the hair to be like in front of the shoulders or behind? Or we could have one in the back, one in the front. So like, we're trying not to rip the paper. This one's in front, or I could even fold a V in there. So like in front. Oh, she's turned. Oh, maybe we have her facing that way, and then that naturally covers the shoulder like this, and the arm position is already kind of outstretched, so we can do something like this, and then just neutral the other arm like here. Look at that. There we go. Then we can have a pose without the rest of the body being dynamic, because we can't really do much here. All right, third, that we figured out our pose. Yeah, sometimes it just be like that with shaping. Like if I haven't thought of the pose yet or don't have a reference, I just kind of play around with it until I know what I want. So one benefit of using MC for shaping is right now, right, there's nothing I can do, no fold I can make to make the head stay like that. And even with PVA, I can't stick anything to itself to hold that. MC, however, will be able to freeze that neck into place and have it angled like that. So that's where the benefit of MC comes in shaping. It's going to allow me to do that. If I wanted to do it with the glue, it'd just be harder. Like it is possible. You can kind of do the wet folding, but it just takes a little, like you have to be precise. You don't want it outside and all messy and no glue residue. So MC is the way to go on that. But for now, let's do this shoulder, because this one 100% is going to be down. Now let me just see relative to the neck, which will be here. I don't want the shoulder too low and I don't want it too high. So I think like right there. So it's like as if it's in the sleeve. And I'm just going to actually crease that. And now the goal here is when we glue, we don't want these blue layers to show. So I'm going to try to glue this like kind of the same thing. We're going to make it a little bit imprecise so that we can be precise later. It's going to be a little bit difficult because the layer is a little short, but we're just going to try our best. Shaping depends on person to person, like what pose you do, or if you like super heavy detail shaping or not. So I believe it can't be taught. Yeah, on a complex, like, yeah, ultimately, like there's things you can learn and techniques you can learn, but to actually like shape something is not really something you can teach. I totally agree. That's what Shangnara said. Unknown EC2. Yeah, it's kind of like shape. Oh, yeah, we already. And Kim said, did you know how to fold the wings of a flying crane? I also have not folded that model either. So I'm sorry, I don't know how to do that. I use way too much glue there. Hold on. Dancing Crane by Lang. Yeah, no, I've never done that one. I assume if there's pleats, you can try something similar to what I showed with my Phoenix. You know, a lot of wing structures are very, very similar. I think you can even watch Henry Pham. He has an eagle tutorial. And then those feathers might translate into the dancing crane, because I think they're similar. Yeah, that might be a good place to start. I think Joe Nakashima also has an eagle tutorial on his channel. All right, and this shoulder joint, I am totally okay with fully gluing all the layers because there's not too many. All right. So now when we fold this down, right, you can see that most of the blue is gone. Obviously, we open here, we can still see it, but when it lies flat, the paper didn't creep beyond that edge. Whereas it would have if we didn't glue it because of the paper thickness. Yeah, wings are like really close to being similar. The ones I did are like slightly different with the double swivel and then the second layer, but even the swivels, the first swivels, it's the same as other wings. Katsura Kyohei's owl too, very similar. You know, there's small nuances that people add to make their wings a little different, but a lot of them are the same. Okay, I need to think about this arm. So I'm going to pose it from this angle, which means we don't really have to worry about that detail. I think I'm going to shape the arm outwards like that so that it faces up. So basically they'll be rounded on this side here. We're not going to see it. And then this side, we're doing the opposite, right? We're going to see this on this side. Okay. So let me think of this color change really quick. It's like this. And then we're just going to have, it's going to be half though, so. Let's do this because when we thin the arm, it's going to show that. Okay, that's good. I'm going to glue that down actually. It's not the cleanest corner for some reason, but yeah. We can just glue it now. Don't need to stress too much about that. Feels like even Joe Nakashima is doing complex origami now too. He recently designed a pretty good, yeah, and he made the tutorial and he like diagrammed it. So yeah, dude, Joe's been in the game for a while. Like massive respect. So many origami tutorials and designs. His spider was cool too. It's not, it's kind of generic and it's not the most efficient, but he makes it like foldable, right? And it's enough to like be able to shape into a cool pose, like any kind of spider pose. Like I think not all designs have to be efficient to be meaningful. Like I mean, this design is not efficient. It's very not efficient. And because it was designed inefficiently, it allowed us to just add the corrugation to the bottom because we had so many unused pleats. So, and I guess it can be considered efficient because I used them, but like you're valley folding through like the whole thing twice, 3 times. But you know, it doesn't have to be perfectly packed. That's why I don't design with box plate studio, because while understanding packing is important, like as a fundamental skill, and that's a great tool to learn how to actually pack efficient crease patterns. You know, after you learn that, you can deviate, make some cool stuff. And that flower looks really good. Is that Bobby? Yeah, Bobby, dude, that flower is nice. Yeah, I think I still recommend whenever people ask me like, "Oh, boys, you know, I get a lot of DMs like, "Hey, I'm at this level, you know, can do a little bit of crease patterns, but not really complex ones yet. I just want to fold stuff." I'm like, Joe Nakashima has a lot of stuff, a lot of cool stuff. You know, find something that looks fun, and then fold that. Because having fun while in the intermediate stage, I think, is really important. Because then you can really like figure out what you want to get better at without like stressing about it or having to do some crazy models. You know, some people like to throw themselves into like ridiculously complex stuff, which if it's fun for them, then that's great. But it's definitely not for everyone. You don't want to be the reason of your own burnout, even though that happens a lot. But okay, so I just added some glue to the hinge because there's like 4 different axes on this thing. There's another one here. I'm gonna do this after I start this arm, I think. So that's our shoulder. Pretty simple, not nothing too crazy. And then I'm not gluing anything here because this is where I'm gonna put MC. This is the tension point to get the neck to turn for our face. Okay, so I think on this I'm gonna glue these layers so I can kind of fix the color even though it won't be seen. And then that'll let me kind of shape in the arm details. Now one thing is I just need to check, are the arms too long? Torso, knee would be here. No, I think we're okay. I think we're okay. Hello, MC Fantomas. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining the stream. I am currently shaping this arm. And in a little bit, I'll show more of the model. That is too much glue. It's okay. Ugh. Okay. Oh, that could be a swaggy walking pose too. Just one arm in front, one arm back. No legs, so I can't actually convey it's walking, but that would have been another easy one to do. It's looking good already. Thank you. Yeah, this one's not going to need like insane shaping at all. It's just, I think having just regular shaping with slight dynamic pose is all it really needs. Which is nice. Which means it won't take me a full month to finish. So the sculpture, it took me, I started it late December, like December 28th, and I finished it on February 1st. So yeah, just about a month. And it's not like I procrastinated. I was working on it every single day. Oh man. Yeah, that took a long time. I had to redo a lot. Like I definitely learned while I folded, that one. And then as I learned, I redid stuff because I realized they were incorrect. Um, I redid both feet like 3 times and both legs twice. And then I redid actually the torso was a one shot. I did that first try. Didn't want to mess with it anymore after that. I did the head twice. The arms, I didn't really have to redo the arms. They just took a really long time to dry and be in place because they were thinner flaps. So I had to be a lot more careful when shaping them. How do you shape fingers? Yeah, so that's in the fingers. I did that like 4 times. That was really, really hard. While this dries a little bit, let me explain that to you. I think that'll be that's useful. Let me let's get this like here. Yeah. Small tip: it's good to have it dry, kind of in pose or in the direction of the pose. So let me grab this. Let me grab another example of my old fingers. Okay. So this is probably my. I still think the assassin is my best fold in general. I think it's just a little bit better than the statue, even though the statue is more shaping. Just as a vibe. So the thing is though, with these fingers, they're like super claw-y, which means like it goes to a really sharp point and then it kind of thickens out. So they're almost like triangles, right? Oh, you can really see here, right? They almost look like dragon claws. Like actually, right? They almost look like these. Just 5 of them, right? So, like at minimum, I would say that's like level 1 finger shaping is to make them claws. If they're anything other than so, what would be lower than claws would just be like open flaps and like really thick paper that's like unshaped. That would just be unshaped. I would just say that's unshaped. And then the claws like that's like level 1 shaping. This I was attempting to do like a level 3 shaping, which would be like Mayuchi, his fingers. I think this is more level 2. I wasn't fully successful on this, but so for one, the fingers are uniform thickness throughout the whole finger. That's key. It doesn't go to a point, like super sharp point at the end, because our fingers are even thickness. All right. The first couple times I did this, I accidentally turned them into claws. And even though it's a big paper, it's really hard to individually get each layer together. This hand too. And then you can see it's just from a corner flap. It's, you can do your 8x8 grid, typical fingers, just regular box pleat fingers. And then the layers, so Mayu, he uses these layers as veins, which works really well. I had them shaped in the wrong direction, so I couldn't do that. But if you look at your hand, right? So like in a regular spread position, my fingers are kind of going that way, but then the bones go to your joint here. And generally these 3 stand out the most. So they're not veins, they're the bones, which I don't know what the bones are called. And I did it just enough to draw shadow, and more shadow than the pleat layers, and that's the most important part. That there's more shadows. So, right, this is the bone. That's the pleat. but the bones have more shadow than the pleats do, and it gives it that effect. That's like 90% of my approach to shaping these fingers. It's just getting the not claw and then shadow, and then that's the best I could I could do after 4 tries. You know, in the future, now that I know, I'll be able to improve more and more. But that's my process currently for shaping fingers. You know, hopefully it's a little bit eye opening or inspiring to see, like, even though it's a, I'm not saying this is a bad model by any means. Like, I did a good job, but I still have a lot of room to grow. Yeah. Was this, I don't know if this was exactly fun to shape, but it was really interesting to be like learning constantly as I was trying different things. Like the shoulders were really like man, to get the shoulders because they're not structural, right? This, it's all shaped. Well, it's a little structural. The top is structural. But that's all shaped, and it's like, it's how do I describe it? It's like a 3D pleat, but then you swivel it. It's almost like a tessellation, honestly, but 3D. So you do 2 so that it sticks up. It's interesting. But after this one took like 2 times, and after I figured out this one, then I redid the knees using that same pleat technique. You can kind of see it here. The hard part is not having it interrupt, because it has to have a pleat somewhere. So where do you draw the pleat towards? See, this one shifted down and it follows this line across the arm. So then when you look at it, it's on the edge, so you don't see it in the photo, right? Yeah. And then I use that same technique on the eyebrow. So the pleat runs that way. But that one makes sense. I at least have a vein here. It kind of makes sense. These ones are not as good because you can see them easier, but there's a lot of stuff to think about and to figure out. I think even though it's like mostly shaping, I think there's still an element of structural design that can be improved as well to make the shaping better. So the hand, the whole model's wet folded. There's no glue at all in this design. No glue. Nothing, no layer is glued together at all. It's all MC wet folded. And yeah, the finger, it's just I shouldn't show this too closely because it's part of the crease pattern for my new design. It's just say, or let me grab basically the vein, right, is I made a little mountain like that, and then I valley folded it a little bit on each side. So I went like that, and I went like that, and then I just made another mountain fold here, and then I gave it a little valley, another little valley, right, and then I did a third one. So, and then once that's in place, and then you wet fold it, and it keeps its shape, which is very hard to do because a lot of times when you get it wet, it wants to unfold itself. So I had to like very carefully get into place. Just use a little MC at a time. Get it to dry. A little bit more MC. Get it to dry. Right, so you can kind of see how I did that. And then obviously fingers are here. So this was just on like layers of paper that were folded up. That's how that works. Oh yeah, the other thing that's bad about the toes, they're okay if you look at them from afar. If you look at them up close, they look really bad. So don't look at them too closely. All right, so this should be drier. Yeah, yeah, nice. So now we can start. Oh, I might need to glue this too. Yeah, we should probably do that. Let me add a little bit more glue on that side, and then we can start shaping. So, have I ever tried carboxyl methylcellulose? I haven't. Um, I know Yuho. I think it's either Yuho or Bodo that uses carboxyl methylcellulose instead of just methylcellulose. Um, but seen from their folds and their techniques, um, like a lot of that wet folding I did for the sculpture, that's like Yuho's technique that I've listened about. I don't know if that's his exact technique, but maybe. Um, and then, yeah, so I think you can do the same thing with carboxyl. You might need to add like, I don't know. I'm not sure. Sorry, I've never used it, so I can't really make any concrete claims. Easy Origami with AG. Of course I remember you, man. You've attended a lot of my streams, and thanks for attending this one. Good stuff. What's the difference between, like, chemically, the carboxyl, it's some kind of molecule that does something. I don't know what that something is, but it's something. um, I'm honestly not too sure. I think, yeah, I don't even think one is thicker than the other or anything. I think they're just pretty similar. It might be, you know, how the powder actually reacts with water that might be a little different, or who knows. I mean, they're obviously very, very close to being the same thing. You know, one just has carboxyl, which is like what, carbon, oxygen. I don't know what makes up a carboxyl molecule or whatever, but that added to the methylcellulose, which you can Google the chemical chain, I think, for methylcellulose, because it's food regulated, so they have to do that. Origami to chemistry. Yeah, dude, I haven't done chemistry in a long time, so I can't remember. I feel like if you're in chemistry class and you ever have to like write a paper or something, I don't know why, or do research, you get to choose. You could like that'd be an interesting research topic. The differences between carboxyl methylcellulose and methylcellulose. Yeah, I bet there's a lot of interesting things to you can make a report that your teachers never read or thought about before. And it might not have the most meaning, but it'd be interesting. All right. So we need to think about our arm proportions. So it would have been nice if we can use this as our elbow, which actually we might be able to. So generally, I think this part of the arm, the top part of the arm, so this part of the arm is slightly longer than this part of the arm in terms of bone length. So here to here, it's longer than here to here. And then we have a wrist, right? So actually we might be able to do this, because that 2 units is going to be shortened because I'm going to put a wrist right here. So this might work. Let's try it. And then I need to think about, so it's like this, right? So here we have bicep. It's the elbow. It's one that pulls. I don't think we actually defined this, and then we don't have to worry about the tricep. It's just shoulder, a little bit of shoulder, bicep. Okay, so I don't think we really need to do the shoulder. We just get a little bit of the bicep. I just don't want to make tube arms, you know what I mean? It's got to have like some reference of shape. And then It's going to be easier when we have our elbow joint in. So elbow, we're going to do a 3D crimp. We're going to try not to take too much real estate. So it's like a really tiny crimp. Just like that. Carboxyl is COOH. Oh, look at that. Biochem. Ah. Remember when I asked tips for your samurai? Well, I made it from like 3.5 meters of paper. Yo, let's go, dude. Thanks for folding it. That's great. Now I'm making the region from 12 meters. That's crazy. That's going to be a cool region, though. Just, you got to think of a way to stand it up. That's pretty neat. That's a big reunion. 12 meters? Wow. You know, I did a samurai from 2.6 meters, I think. 2.8 meters? And that was pretty big already. 3.5. That's a big samurai. That's almost life size, I think. Maybe after the Chem AP test, I can do something with that. Oh, yeah, true, dude. True. Here, MC is way more expensive than CMC. CMC is like 6 times cheaper. Yeah, you know, I had someone ask me, because I had some links from the Amazon in India between CMC and I think it's because they import the regular MC. Like I think it's that same bottle that I showed, which it's definitely imported, and if it's imported, it's obviously way more expensive. Like an overseas import. I'm not exactly sure where that MC is from, but it sounds like it. Who knows? CMC might be better. You know, I don't know. I get the cheaper one. If it works, it works, right? MC is like 7 times more. Yeah. Don't spend money on that. You know, just get the CMC. I already finished the bottom part of the region. Nice. That's impressive. Keep it up. Taking chem next year, so I'll probably tell you in a year. Let's go. You can surprise your teachers with your knowledge. Yeah, 12 meters. How do you have space to fold that? Like, I couldn't fold that in my house. The biggest I did was that Western Dragon from Shuki. That literally covered the entire floor of my house. Okay, so what I'm doing in the back, I'll show it because I'm feeling it with my fingers, but I'm doing a slight swivel like this. And that little swivel, give me just a little bit of roundness here. I think that's what I need. Now I want the elbow to be a little bit more defined. It's still a little tube army for me. Let's get a I'm just massaging this area a little bit so that there's a slight indent when I close it. Don't know if that's going to do anything, but we're just kind of trying. More small textures I can get, small details, I think they'll be more effective than trying to like define muscle structure or something. Whatever it is, I just don't want tube arms. Okay. That's good. And then Okay, so what do we do for the thumb? I think we'll just we'll just do a generic thumb. It doesn't have to be too fancy. All right, and then we need just another. Could we do a baby crimp for the wrist, or do we just bend it? I don't think we need a crimp. We can just. Maybe we should do a crimp. Sometimes a line for the wrist is a nice feature. And then now the question is the arm too long? Maybe. I think that's all. I think it's okay. I wish we could see more of it from this angle, because that's how it's gonna be seen. So maybe it won't bend the wrist as much like that, and I'll do it this way. Let's see if I'm. Yeah. I think we can do a really tiny, we can get away with a really tiny crimp. Oh, is that too much of a line? I think, well, is that hand too big now? No, I don't think so. Didn't quite result like I wanted it to, but I think it's subtle enough that it does its job. Yeah, good enough. Good enough for now. We're not gonna stress too much about it. What model am I making? I am making it's a new design, brand new design. Formal dress, obviously, a nice lady, and then with a corrugated bottom of her skirt, which I need to come back to that a little bit. I also need to make her stand. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's gonna have to be like, maybe if it's not 2 units, like 1 unit, so like a half unit shrunk. We're gonna figure that out after we do the arms though, so we don't make a mistake too early. But we're gonna give the put the thumb down. And I'm just gonna let the paper dry as is like this, and then if we need to come back to it, we can. Sorry, I didn't want to grab too much glue. Thing is, sometimes with tissue paper, you can get glue residues, and it's like, I don't know, it doesn't look that great. So I'm trying really carefully not to use too much glue, where it leaves those like speckles. Really shows up on like black papers. Or like very fibrous papers where it stands out from the fiber. It's not too bad. I'm trying to like disconnect my brain a little bit from my anatomically accurate fold and just let this one flow. Okay, and then in terms of positions like here. So that we can also fix with MC to like leave the arm here. Or maybe we can do a mix of the PVA here. So I'll glue this. Oh, that's too much. I don't know why, but my CMC doesn't work. It's probably too thin. And like I recommended in my paper video, you can add white glue to your MC for shaping and preparing paper. Oh, he's making them parts. I missed that. That's smart. And then you'll connect all the 12-meter sheets together. Okay. You buy eye drops since it's usually used for that. Eye drops. It's used for eye drop carboxyl? I thought it was in food. Maybe it also has uses in eye drops. Not sure. Okay, that's dried, and then now we're gonna shape this arm a little bit. And go a little bit lighter on the shaping. So where's our elbow? We have a shorter arm, so it's gonna be like here. And then this we're just gonna, we're not actually gonna have like an elbow crimp. I think we're gonna do it just a 3D. I guess it is also technically a 3D crimp, but in a slightly different way. Oh, I need some more glue too. Okay. Oh, that's also maybe too much. Okay. Oh, shaping with eye drops. That would be interesting. I mean, maybe to this, it could be. I don't know if MC would even get through, or if it does, then your MC is not thick enough. For sure. If you can use it in an eyedropper. Okay, now we can do this. Man, yeah, I'm not sure what the correct proportion is. Like, if is this is right, or it should be one shorter. Oh, I think this is right. I don't think it's well. We'll see. The nice thing is we can always add that one shorter in again. I'll just leave the crease line there. It's not too bad, but yeah, I can do something like, is that her knee? You know, like in theory, if the arm reaches here, her knee should be around here, which gives that amount for her leg. She's about right. Her torso should only be like 2.5. Hmm. Tough. It's a tough call. Don't know. Are you making Medusa? I'm not making Medusa. But you could use a similar structure and then just use middle flaps and make Medusa here. I think for a Medusa, right, she would need much longer tail. Oh, it could be a Medusa. You could shift these to 22.5 degree angles. It'd look really cool, I think. Should try doing more time lapses like Yuho Konkala. His time lapses are the best. Yeah, Yuho's special with those time lapse. I don't think I could replicate his time lapsing abilities. Um, like you can see, I'm shaping like this, right? And I'm just like waiting and thinking. They're very active. Like if I did I did time lapses before, right? And they weren't that great. Um, but nowadays you get a large chunk of me like just sitting like this and looking at the model. Um, I like the format of making a story around the video though. So like the Crunchyroll Hime, I that's my new take on time lapses. I think I'm a little bit more natural at making those styles. I could have probably showed a bit more folding and a little bit more time lapse. I think that one only had like 30 seconds of folding. um, but we'll find a balance. Yeah, let me know as things come about. I did the same format with the assassin video, I think. Um, yeah, to make time lapses watchable, it's very difficult. And Yuho's cracked the code a little bit. He's like the only one that's cracked. His models are also just like insane enough to be watchable for that time. Like 40 minutes? Dude, that's crazy. I don't think I like yeah. You guys would leave my videos before. I can't make them interesting enough. But live streams are easier. I can do that because I can talk and entertain people. Okay, so this is dried a little bit now. We can do our small crimp here. You know, if you go back at my channel, I tried to be, I tried really hard to make time lapses more interesting. I did a whip scorpion. Kote Ime is whip scorpion, and there's drone shots. Drone shots. I think it's just like my filmography wasn't that great, so still did not. That video did okay for how small I was in the time, but you know, there's only so many drone shots you can do. Oh, what's up, Bodo? To be honest, live streams are way more entertaining than time lapses, even if it's slower. Yeah, I think so too. Like, the interaction aspect is like hugely different. Um, and it's more rare too. Like, I think a lot of you can say that there's not many people or friends that also fold origami that you can actually like kind of, I mean, you're not really talking to me, I'm talking to you, but chat, it's like a step closer to that, you know what I mean? um so it's not quite the same, but it's also it's more, a lot more connection than leaving a comment on a video and then maybe you'll get a reply and that's it. Oh, that's wrong side. So I like the live stream format. Let's go chat. Yeah. Timeless that are born for non-org, that too. A lot of non-origamists, like, unless if, again, if it's a model as impressive as Yuho's, it could work because they're like, I need to figure out how this thing is real. But if it's just like a bunch of blur, really quick folding, like non-origamists, all they see is a blur. They don't understand like, oh, he's working on the wings right now, or he's doing a level shifter. You know, it just doesn't make sense to them, which is fair. It wouldn't even translate much to folders. Like, they'd be like, this is too fast. My eyes cannot keep up. And there's 20 more minutes of this, you know? So it's a hard format to get right. There's a couple people who've got just really good time lapses and really impressive. Like, the more you think about it, the more impressive their time lapses get, I think. Plants region time lapse is pretty good too. I haven't seen that in a while. I did watch it, but I think that, I mean, that one has a lot of views too, so that one also worked well. Obviously, it worked pretty well. Speaking of people's time lapses, I am gonna do a live stream soon, which I meant to do last year, but while I'm folding, we're gonna be watching some people's time lapses or videos. Speaking of Bodo, since he's here, he's got some cool ones too. So we'll do some video review while I fold, and should be pretty fun. It's a new format I wanted to try, but wasn't sure about enough to actually do. But now I'm gonna do it. And I have a special model prepared for that stream. I just have to remember how to actually fold it. But it's very repetitive, so it'll be easy for me to chat while watching the videos and responding. I can show it to you, actually. Hold up, didn't that happen already? It didn't, Bodo. It was supposed to happen, and it did not happen. Yeah, I asked you about that a while ago. I did a test run on Twitch, but it wasn't like everyone's videos. I think it was like 1 or 2 of yours, and then my videos. That was it. But it was like just to mark, I think. It was, you might have been there on Twitch too, I'm not sure. Yeah. Plants for Fusion Timelapse is how I found the Discord server. Hey, let's go. The origin story. Yeah. So I have this like, I forget what these are called. This is called something in the tessellation world. But there's a certain squash I do to make it look like an eye. I thought it looked cool back in the day. I have no idea if it's actually cool, but we're just gonna send it because it's kind of fun. And I mean, this thing by itself is pretty cool, but yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Hopefully, in maybe next week, maybe in 2 weeks, maybe next month. Who knows? But we're gonna try to. We'll try it out. We'll try it out. All right. I am a little stuck on this arm because it's not looking how I want it to. I want this to stay. I want this to be round, not to be more forward. But when I press here, it undoes the other one. Okay, so I think that's fine, and then I just need to like fold underneath here. Do you have a streaming? I don't. Um, there was a time where I streamed kind of regularly, and I thought about like, oh, can I do a schedule? Uh, that was when I was in college. That doesn't work that too well. It's my call. Oh man, I. That's a story for another day. But I did not sleep very much, and I did too many things, so um, it was not possible. Nowadays, I might, but I'm prioritizing just like YouTube videos over and tutorials and making that over streaming schedule. So, but Friday nights that this might work. So this might be the live stream like weekly or bi-weekly kind of live stream deal if I do them. Because like the thing about stream schedule is it helps, and if you're consistent, it works. Um, but you also have to think about your viewers. Like you guys in school, I can't if I stream during your school hours, you can't watch, right? So who am I streaming to, even though it's consistent? Um, but if I release a video, I can have a premiere that people can attend. But then if people are in school, they can just watch the video afterwards. So win-win, kind of. Yeah. Okay, this arm is going to need some more work. But the concept's there, right? I think it's just a little awkward posing too. Yeah, I'm gonna. It's gonna be something to do with the shoulder and then the thickness of the arm compared to the other arm. Like that arm's a lot thinner, but thinner and make this like the more awkward it looks too. Maybe I should just like actually do a crimp to make the elbow joint instead of this 3D thing, because I think it's skewing the rest of the arm a little too much. What did you study in university? I did computer science. I have a master's degree in computer science. Specialized in like software engineering realm. So right now I do like CI, it's continuous integration, which is very software engineering, and it's all cloud service based. So little cloud engineering. I don't like that this color change shows. Yeah, so that was intense. You know, that was a lot of school. Very busy. Yeah. I did that in high school. You know, advanced mathematics, which is basically college level math in high school, which I think is pretty normal for STEM people. I was okay at it. It's one of those things, like when I look back at math, that most of math, at least like maybe not theoretical math, but regular math, it's like you do well if you understand what's going on, and you don't do well if you don't. So all you really gotta do is just understand like why and convince yourself why you need to know it, and then it's not too bad. You just do the equations, a step-by-step process. It's like solving a diagram, right? It's just, you know, it might be a lot to remember, but if you can frame it in the right reference, then, and if you learn the right tricks, right? Like triple integrals and nth dimensional integrals, there's a lot of tricks to do those. You don't have to. integration by parts the entire thing and do all those random steps. You can still show to work, but like you understand where the route's going and it's chilling. Yeah, you're all here in 8th grade. Okay, you're not doing triple integrals yet. Never mind. Um, don't worry about those for a while. And maybe in high school. Last year, high school triple integrals, multivariable calc. Geometry's hard. Yeah. Oh, yeah. For 8th grade, I think it's a little early. Again, whenever you think something's hard, it's mostly because you don't understand it yet. So just find a way to understand it, and then it's no longer hard. That's most of the things in life. Volley, hello. Proofs are fun though. It's like a puzzle. Yeah. I think proofs are annoying as homework, but it's really useful to because again, that kind of gives you the why. Like it explains why for a lot of stuff. I feel like too much in math a lot of times, like if you're brute force memorizing equations, which sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do, like you miss out on that why, and then it becomes really hard to understand. But if you can prove it, then you can draw a lot of conclusions, and it's pretty cool. Some of the applied stuff. You get an A plus. Nice. Good. Means you're studying hard enough. Keep those grades up, guys. And you can do lots of origami in the future. Is folding with long nails better or short nails? That's a good question too. I like mine like, okay, we can do a nail check. That's how long I like them. If they get too long, it builds up pressure here and it can tear your nail off. I had a nail and it was partly due to typing and stress from college and folding a lot, but it destroyed the connection right here only on this side. So the nail grew out and it like unfolded as the new one grew in. And it was really painful and I couldn't, like I had to tape up the finger to do anything for a long time. You can probably see there's some live streams in the past where I had this finger taped up. And that's why, because from stress and folding and homework, it killed the connection. It was rough. So don't have it too long because physics, math, right? What's lever, torque, force times distance, leverage, whatever that one is, right? If it's longer, there's more force applied, right? There's more torque. So you can pop off your nail accidentally if you fold too much or you type too much. Screen, origami, chat, mathematics, me doesn't understand both. It's all good. The most important part is to have fun and be responsible. So responsible with studying, make it fun, or use an incentive to know that you can have fun afterwards. And yeah, that be how it be. Mom still yelled at me. Yeah, it'd be like that. I'm still working on this arm, man. It's like bothering me so much, even though I want to move on and fix it later. Okay, I think from here we can kind of make the proportion call. I need to set the neck in a little bit better. Okay, now do we do hair then neck or neck then hair? I think we do neck then hair. I don't even remember what it looked like before you started shaving. Here, I got you. This is what This is what it looked like. There. Kind of. It's looking. We made some good progress. I'm gonna stop streaming soon, because it's getting late, and I don't want to stay up too late because I already stayed up late this entire week. So. Okay, so let's try to MC this. And then we're going to use our hair dryer again. See if it works. I might need to do like this off stream. Because it's very fidgety. Like it's dexterous. I like that word. Can I hold it in place with one hand? Is the question. Yeah, like that. Okay. 2 a.m. folding is the best. True. I get a lot done at 2 a.m. Alright, so let's get this pretty MC'd. Won't be shy with our MC usage. Want to try to avoid some of the surfaces though, so it doesn't like wrinkle or warp too badly. But all these inner layers we don't have to worry about. Okay, I think that's good for now. Might need more, but let's let it soak a little bit, and then we can wet fold it and then dry it. The main thing is, can I hold the position that I want it to be in? We can mess up some of the arms because we're gonna mess with them later. And if I can't hold it with one arm, then I just gotta use 2 arms. Yeah, okay, we gotta do 2 arms. I think more people should do origami stuff on YouTube. A lot of good creators are not here. Like, people are waiting for... Yeah, man. I've been telling people, a lot of people, when they start their YouTube channels, they come to me and they're like, oh, boys, please subscribe. Please subscribe. I'm going to make videos. I'm going to do all that. And it's like, sometimes I give them a chance. They make like one video and then they're gone for years, and then maybe they make one more and it's like, oh, boys, I'm back. One video in years. It's hard. I think that's what happens. They realize it's hard. Like, I don't even post as much as I should, but it's a lot of work. So it's not for everyone, but I very much encourage people to try. There's correct ways to do it and incorrect ways to do it. So try it correctly and respectfully. And the more we can get on here, the better. So, yeah. We need more. Please. I'd love to collab with people who are actively, making an effort. And I think some people, a lot of the YouTube meta, right? It's very self-centered, but at the core, you got to have community. So make the channel for the community, not yourself, not for personal growth, but community growth. And you can go, it's a little more sustainable. Super Origami asks, I'm in a different time zone as well. Do you manage to live out of it? Make a living out of it? Not fully. It doesn't pay that much. But it's a second stream of income. You know, I'm not going to get into like personal finance right now, but if you guys, you know, the ones who are older, you're looking to your personal finance, multiple streams of income. It's a good thing to YouTube if you can commit to it. If it's something you think is fun, it's a good method. It's a lot of work, but basically, right? My day job, save and invest, spend on what you need. Origami, spend it on what I want. You know, that's what it comes down to. New camera, paid by from Origami. I need a haircut. I do need a haircut. Yes. We'll be active after exams, but my English speaking is not that good. Just gonna do science stuff. Yeah, totally fine as well. Keep it up, man. Yeah, it's hard in school. It's really hard in school too. Like I totally get it. Like not putting people down for stopping after a couple months. It's like I totally understand. It's really hard, man. Like I feel it, but I'm still going because I just push past. Oh, you're only 11. Yeah, wait till you're 13. Again, like I said, do things responsibly, correctly, and respectfully. So if there's a terms of service age, which is 13, you know, just wait 2 years. Not too long. Be respectful. You know, spend those 2 years. Just work on becoming more mature, and do it properly. Don't try to fake your age or lie about your age. Just do things correct. $14 now. Nice, dude. Yeah. You need the Sasuke Part 2 tutorial. Hey, you got some fans wanting some videos, Shagnara. So once you're ready, you know. Okay, I'm going to realize this is going to be an issue with the shoulder. I'm gonna mute really quick so I can blow dry this. And we're back. Mochi subscribed to Shagnara after hearing about the Sasuke. Yeah, dude. Go check him out. It's great stuff. Really talented folder, too. Yeah, shaping is hard to explain. All right, so from that, see, now when I let go, It stays. Whoa. That's MC shaping for you. It doesn't work as well with the double tissue though. So if you look closely, you can see it's still wet inside and it almost stained blue. Or maybe you can't see it. I can see it. So you don't want to damage the paper too much if your MC's a little bit more on the wet side. Hair dryer, one of the great tools of origami, right? The other thing, so like right now our model is really floppy here. The other thing MC does is it hardens things in place. So if I did the same thing but throughout the body, I could probably get it to stand up on its own, which might be a good challenge. Once this is also more fanned out, is to get it to balance on its own. Might be kind of hard because I put a lot of creases in here, but that'd be fun, right? She's also like way too skinny. Oh, maybe I should have used this to make it 3D. Okay, so there's still... It's not elegant, but I can make her a little bit more round, so I can balance. We'll figure this out later. I'm gonna have to like try a bunch of stuff off stream. Oh, you don't know what I'm folding yet? It's a girl with a dress made out of with a tessellation at the bottom, or not tessellation, a corrugation at the bottom. The bottom of her dress is this like pattern. Here's her dress, and then it's her hair. Her arm. Here's the other arm. I did like a little wristband on this arm, just because there's paper too. It's a little too thick, so I need to fix the arm, but it's going. How long does it take me to design? So I showed this earlier. I'll show it again. This one took me, I'd say like 1 day. So maybe like 3 hours. So for me, it's because I've reused some of these structures before. So this head I've used in many designs. And then this is just an arm. Pretty easy stuff, right? It's not much going on here, but this version was more complicated and it was incorrect. So here's the next one. This is just longer hair right here. Same head, same arm, right? And then that still didn't work. So, and the reason why is because the arms were too high, right? So the arms would have been here instead of down here, right? So we didn't want that. And then we have this one, which is what I folded here. Oops. And this part was inspired from Shuzo Fujimoto. Which is this. Right. But just a lot more. And throughout the whole bottom section. So, you know, that's it. It's nothing too crazy. This is like a warm up for other color change models I want to design. But that's mostly because I have, you know, years of experience designing now, so it's pretty fast. Have you watched originals or TDV? I think I missed something. Oh, doing the tutorial parts, 30 minutes. Sorry, internet was down. Is that Orihime? Yeah, yeah. It's Ori Edit, which is this basically the same thing as Orihime. Darren Lee, listen to this answer while showering. All right, dude. Good stuff. Any ideas how to download Orihime in Windows? Yeah, you just download it. Here. I'll put the one I have in chat as an executable. If you guys want to be software developers, you should at least know how to download software. Just be careful. maybe don't do it yet. Ask your parents or someone to help you. There you go. That's the one I'm using. Easy Origami. I don't know what you mean by the originals or TVD. Not sure what you mean there. I don't watch much TV, so maybe not. Starting from zero. Oh, well, you could just start on the same channel, Sheng. I mean, I'd say, you know, when you're hopping back into something after a break, just don't have expectations. Find a better reason to do it, right? Don't think about numbers at all. Think of it as, I'm just going to make this and I want people to watch it and find it useful, right? So just have something to be able to share to people. And then, you know, don't worry about posting if it doesn't get any views for a while. But it's there. You know, you made it, you did it. And then all you got to do now is just find people to share it with. It always gets stuck in a commercial. Yeah, you're probably downloading from a bad website. So just do that one. I think it's more direct and it's executable. So you don't have to rely on a Java install. Okay. I think this is a good pausing point for today. We have, it's kind of recognizable, right? Does it look like a lady in a dress? This part is a little jank. I think once we widen it, it's going to look a lot better. I think in the future, I'm going to make it higher, but make it longer so there's more poof earlier. Because I think it's like her waist is like here. I think after that, it needs to thicken out a little bit. Be a little bit. Right now, it's like tube. So she can't move her legs, right? That's not realistic. Is there a way to, yeah, so MC shaping. Let me impress you guys a little bit with my friend. Let me look this up. So he made a model of another one of our friends doing a one-handed handstand, and it stands on its own. So there's a mixture of balance and then using enough MC and glue to get it to stay tight. Now, when models have like very little layers in the feet generally, this is where MC is better than PVA for this use. So this is like 2 layers thick of Wenjo. That's really thin. But do you see how strong that is? Look at that. I don't know if you can hear it. Like, that is strong. And that's because there is a lot of MC and it's dried very nicely. Same with these toes. It makes the base like rock solid so it won't bend. Like right now, this one, right? It bends, right? If I hold it down, it bends. If I MC it, it won't bend. If I just glue it, it's still gonna bend a little bit. It's too thin. I think the MC helps strengthen the like glue. It sticks the layers together and then it hardens. The MC, it just hardens the paper as is, and it helps a lot. For a fact, my real name isn't Changnara. I used it to hide my identity on the internet. I mean, yeah, that works too. You know, you just kind of pick something. Like, people just call me Origami by Boyce or Origami. Or Boyce. I mean, Boyce is my name, but, you know, OBB. I try to brand myself as OBB. So if people call me OBB or Origami by Boyce, non-origami people, they just call me Origami. And then it's a double whammy. They think about me and they think about origami. You know what I mean? But yeah, as long as it's something you're okay with being identified by. Oh, Vampire Diaries. I've not seen Vampire Diaries. Yeah, there's some origami conventions in Australia. There's 2 in Japan, 2 or 3 in Japan. I think 2 or 3 in Korea. There's there's some in South America. So that's like Bogota, Colombia, Peru, I think. Brazil has one. I don't think India has one yet, but there's some great community leaders in the Indian community that are making things happen. So maybe an Indian convention will happen someday. Italy. Oh, that's Europe. It's not Europe. I'm not familiar if there's any in Africa. I know there's some folders in Africa, but not too familiar with the community over there. What other continents are there? There's some in China. Yeah. So they're around. Internationally, though, I think the easiest way to access conventions is the online ones. The conversion rates, it's a little expensive depending where you live, but it's a lot cheaper than a plane ticket. So kind of depends. Online. That's right. There's a lot of online conventions. Yeah, around France, yeah, there's the Lyon, there's Germany, they have one. There's quite a lot in Europe. British Origami Society, they had an online one. Origami USA, I'm teaching at one. It's Fold Fest is coming up. There's online classes. There's the geometric origami that was held from Israel. It was online, right? I just got to Google them. Stuff like that. All right. And I think that's going to be it for the stream. Not sure when the next stream is, but tomorrow I'm just going to be filming the double tissue video. So yeah, that's going to be my week, or at least my weekend. It's just getting that video done, and yeah, see how that happens. Yeah, no convention in India yet, right? Yeah, but maybe one day, there's a movement starting to happen in India, and that's how it starts. It's young leaders, great folders with a mentor. Probably not happening anytime soon, but who knows? In the future, 10 years could happen. All right, great. All right, well, guys, that's the stream. Thank you so much for joining, and hopefully you learned a little bit about my shaping process, and you got to see a new design. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed talking with people about origami, and I think I shaped more than I would have if otherwise. But yeah, stay tuned. So we have the OBB competition right now. check it out. You know, check out some of the submissions. Just like the photos if you can't join. But we have the store if you want to buy diagrams. You can go check that out. I have my diagram collection. And then yeah, just get ready for those paper videos. You know, if you haven't seen the first part, just definitely check out the part one. And honestly, I'm really proud of my past like 4 or 5 videos that are not the OBB competition ones, like just the folding ones. So go check those out if you haven't already as well. And I'll see you guys later. Oh, my friend Dongo is here. Yo, dude, thanks, man. Thanks for hanging out. And I'll see you guys next time. I messed up the outro. There's the outro. All right. Bye, guys.